Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we are back with just another Saadelive. Simple, easy, but I guess fun. So I have a good amount of questions today. And I'll add some more that I got if I have time at the end, but I don't think that's really gonna happen. But if that is the case, I will add some more. Anyways, first one, let's see, what is this? What's your favorite Star Wars movie, trilogy, animated show, live action show, character, and lightsaber? All right, that's packed. I guess they're new. Okay, favorite Star Wars movie? Revenge of the Sith is my all-time favorite. It's been since I was little. And then episode 5 is right under, and then episode 1 right under that. So that's kind of like my top 3. My favorite trilogy right now, it's the prequels. It changes though, just whatever I'm in the mood for. I love both of them. I'm not like only prequels or only originals. I like both of them. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But as of now, it's the prequels, yeah. Animated show, Clone Wars. I feel like that's the only answer to that question. I mean, I don't know what else. Rebels, Bad Batch, no, bro, Clone Wars. It's either Clone Wars 08 or Clone Wars 03, but either or, it's something Clone Wars, Live action show, it was Mando until they ruined it with that last season. So now it's probably Andor, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, because that never really contradicted anything lore-wise. None of these projects are ultimately George's vision at the end of the day, so it's stupid to say, well, this one's closer, or this one is like, no, bro, none of it is at the end of the day. So that's out the window for thinking about this. So, I just, at this point, just think about what contradicts lore or whatever, and, or what makes sense to certain characters. And the whole Darksaber problem in the 3rd season really kind of dropped that show a lot for me. But if it was the first 2 seasons of the show, that would absolutely be number 1. But obviously, I can't be delusional and pretend the 3rd season doesn't exist. So, it's all the same people, unfortunately, behind it. And that would be dumb to say, oh, well, only the first 2 seasons, no. So probably Andor, to be perfectly honest with you. That's probably my favorite. And then Mando season 1 and 2, and then Ahsoka. That's like my top 3 live action. Yeah. And Ahsoka started out really strong, and it was probably my favorite live action show. And then they did this weird thing with Sabine having the Force, and those last 2 episodes really brought it down for me, unfortunately. It didn't finish off the way... the 7th episode was just straight up unnecessary filler. And then the 8th episode was just, ridiculous and sloppy and boring and dumb. Where Thrawn says, rain hellfire, and they dodge through all the different frickin' laser blasts. There's no way, I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff like that where I was like, all right, bro, this is just such a convenience. But yeah, if that were only the first 6 episodes, that would probably be way higher, but it's unfortunately, I don't know. So I guess now it depends on season 2. If season 2 is as good as those middle 3 episodes of the first season, then it might be my favorite one, to be perfectly honest with you. But season 2 would have to be really strong thoroughly. It couldn't be like Ahsoka season 1 where it was choppy, where the first 3 episodes were good but boring, and then the middle 3 were ridiculously good, and then the last 2 were just garbage. It can't do that. So for me, the only way Ahsoka could move really high up and be my number 1 is if season 2 is as strong as it should be, which it sounds really promising, knowing that really the whole season's this big giant battle. That sounds really enticing on its own, that it's not going to be full of weird um character development episodes that don't even develop the character. It's like I don't know. I feel like just from the things I've heard, and that Ewan might be in season 2, is probably supposedly going to be in it. Hayden is confirmed to be in it. It's just interesting, and it's going to explore more with the Force, and that season 2 really could be a lot better than season 1. And it could redeem the show, but it just depends on what they do. My favorite character is Darth Vader, always. But runner-ups, Han Solo, and I mean, I count Anakin, obviously, but like Anakin and Vader, I kind of same level for me. Yeah, Han Solo, and then probably like, fuck, Luke, and then Grievous, I think. That's probably like I feel like I'm missing. Star Killer also. Galen Merrick. Very cool character as well. But yeah, those are kind of my favorites. And now my favorite lightsaber. This is hard because I have connections with all of them for different reasons. Not every single one, but the main ones. I really like all of them. But if I had to pick one, that's so hard, picking one. And it's like one version of one, like, I don't know. Because I actually really like Darth Vader's and what it symbolizes, and its physical, I guess, presence it's a lot bigger, because Vader's hands are, big mechanical hands, and, it's sized up. It's like very just bland, mechanical. It symbolizes Vader's soul. It's reminiscent of his Padawan one, which shows that there is that bit of Anakin in him that's plastered with Vader on top. So it's symbolically, I feel like Vader's saber is really cool. And then I also really like Luke's green saber. I think that one is really cool, and how, again, that kind of connects with Obi-Wan's. And I don't know, it's just really nice. And I also really like Anakin's, obviously, the Skywalker saber. That if I had to pick one, it'd probably be the Skywalker saber from Revenge. That would probably be my number one. And then Vader and Luke's are cool. And then Anakin's Padawan saber I really, really like as well. Actually, that might be my number one. Honestly, bro, it's between the Annie 2 or the episode 3 Anakin saber. One of the two. And then Vader's a runner-up, and Luke. But those are my favorites. Those are like, see, that's the thing. It's impossible for me to pick one in all these categories other than like animated show, because like they're all just so good, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard for me to like pick one. Or live action show, even that's pretty clearly Andor at this point, which is crazy. Like, you'd think that there'd be something so blatantly Star Wars, but there just hasn't been. But sure, if I could say just Mando season 1 and 2, then that would take the spot instantly, but I feel like that's not fair. Yeah, so that's that. Another question. What Star Wars planet would you live on if you could? Oh god, this is difficult, because like I'd say Coruscant so quickly, but then it depends on what time you're living in Coruscant. Because if you're living on Coruscant during the Empire era, then it's just this fascist, like, depressing, garbage, like, just homeless-filled city. It is not nice at the time of the Empire. But then, like, during the latter half of the Clone Wars, it was also really, like, they were struggling getting resources and food because the Republic was spending all their money on the clones and the army and fighting the separatists. So it's like, then that wouldn't be awesome. So I'd say early Clone Wars era Coruscant would probably be my go-to. Yeah, but it's just such a cool planet, and the fact that it's just a ginormous city like that, there's so much that I feel like you could explore there, and I don't know, it's chill. Like on a Saturday you go to the opera house, and then you know the next day you're like taking freaking selfies near the Jedi Temple, or I don't know, whatever the fuck. It's freaking sick. So that's one. What would another one be? Like, it's just always been for me, it's like Coruscant. Like, I really like Batuu, honestly. Even though it's like a Disney Star Wars thing, I really, really like Batuu. It's like a really nice balance of nature and architecture where it's not just nature like Endor, but it's also not just, civilized architectural whatever. It's like mixed, and it's not sand. I don't really like sand all that much. And I legitimately mean that, not just because Anakin says I don't like sand. Like, I legit don't like sand. It's annoying and gets everywhere, and it's gross. So, I'd say that's like probably a really solid option as well. Plus, I'm a local. I'm there all the time. Crazy that I can say that, but it's true. And yeah, I don't know. You would never find me living on Tatooine. I'd visit Tatooine. Tatooine would be a fun place to visit, but to live there and like Bespin or Hoth, like they're all just so harsh. Like Bespin, you live in a fucking one little thing, and it's like, no, bro. That's so like such sheltered living. And then Hoth, you can't live there. Literally, no one inhabited Hoth until the rebels had their base there. And even then it was incredibly difficult to sustain because humans are just not meant to live there. It's so harsh. The conditions are so harsh. Utapau would probably be chill too, honestly. That would probably be like interesting. But yeah, Coruscant would probably be my number one go-to. What are your thoughts on the new Hasbro Star Wars stuff, like the Anakin versus Obi-Wan set or the Luke versus Vader set? Yeah, so I think all that stuff is really, really cool. And honestly, Star Wars merchandise in general terms has only been increasing in quality as of lately. Like with even their books, like big books, not like chapter books, not so much, comics, not so much, but like their encyclopedias and all that, or like behind the scenes material books or whatever. All of that stuff has just been getting better because we went through a really harsh period of time where we had none of that stuff, or it just sucked, or the things they chose to feature just sucked, and now it's like we're getting so much of it. And Hasbro and Black Series, that stuff's only getting better and better and better, and the figures are looking better, and it's just like it's really getting to a better point, I feel like, where like 5 years ago trying to find an Anakin Black Series figure or a Rex Black Series figure was just not possible. It was just so like they'd only make those off of their new shows and their new cast. Like they never went back and were like, oh, we could make a new Darth Vader or a new whatever. It's like nowadays they do Legends stuff a lot where they have like the Shadows of the Empire set, or they have oh, I'm an idiot. I forget the name of the actual set, but there's like Luke, Mara Jade, Jorah Sabayoth, and I think Cade Skywalker or something. They have a set with all those characters, and then they have Clone Wars stuff. They have Savage Opress right now. Like then there's their revenge stuff. They have Cody, Anakin, Obi-Wan. Then they had an Anakin versus Obi-Wan set at San Diego Comic-Con on Mustafar with like the two platforms they're on and lava, and it's sick. And then they also have my favorite one. They have a Luke versus Darth Vader set on Bespin. So it's the, no, I am your father. It's that scene basically in a figure set which is awesome. So that's really cool too. I'll probably get that one honestly when it comes out. Um, but yeah, the Revenge one was at Comic Con, and then they sold it on Hasbro Pulse, and it sold out super super fast. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if the Luke and Vader one's still in stock, honestly, because it's just so cool. But who knows? But yeah, Black Series is just so good, and they have these sets right now. There's like an Anakin and Rex set, and an Obi-Wan and Cody set. I don't know. It's not Obi-Wan and Cody, is it? No, it's Obi-Wan and some 212th Trooper set, and they had a Cody. Like Black Series is really doing their cooking right now. But yeah, I'm a very, very passionate about the merchandising land of Star Wars too, and even Disney Parks is going crazy. I mean, that Star Speeder they made, ridiculous. I mean, just so, so cool and unheard of and never done before, with that kind of advanced. It's not even advanced, it's just someone thought logically and was like, this would be really cool and we can do it, and that's what they did and it worked. Yeah, man, I and their helmets have been just awesome, every single one, it's just like, and always, the legacy sabers, there's nowhere you can get a metal lightsaber hilt that's actually like accurate to the character for that price. Sure, they're thicker, might not be proportioned accurately, obviously. But the design of the actual hilt, everything's there. You're not missing anything on the design. Where NeoPixel, you're relying on these other sellers who don't get the actual prop to scan. So that you're gonna have inaccuracies, or like the Vader NeoPixels with the plaque on the front. It's like, what the heck, dude? Like, that's not screen accurate at all. But then, of course, there are ones that are super screen accurate, like the Annie 3 from TheorySabers.com. That one is incredible because it's literally the one they used in the Ahsoka show, and there's no inconsistency on it at all. Like, you look at there's zero inconsistency. It's proportioned right. So that's pretty much a screen prop. Or even the Obi-Wan ones. Like, there's a lot of them that are totally 100% accurate. And then there are other ones that just absolutely are not, So that's the thing. But yeah, with Legacy Sabers, it's simple. There's not like 1,000 settings and 1,000 buttons and oh no, I switched to the other font. It's just like that character's font, that character's saber, which I like that kind of simplicity as well. I like both. I like having Legacy Sabers are easier to collect because they're way cheaper, where Neos are fun to get every once in a while and get a simpler hilt for the sound fonts and everything, But yeah, I don't know. I think that just the saber industry as well has blown up like crazy in the past few years too. With Theory, I think revolutionizing it with the way he's doing things, and his saber company is amazing. I have a Theory saber. I got a mystery box with the streaming pack on it. Not streaming, the games pack on it, which is sick. And it's all like the Old Republic fonts and the Jedi fonts. I have a Kyle Katarn font on there as well. The original Jedi games. But yeah, it's sick. I really like it. I love my Theory saber. And it's light and it's small, so it's really fun to spin around and stuff. It's great for dueling, because it's RGB, so the blade isn't super heavy. It's just like a hollow thing, so it's super fun to spin. And it's like having a real stunt lightsaber. And, for that, those are dirt cheap. If you want a stunt lightsaber, you can get one with the best sound fonts on Theory Sabers for like $90. And it's like, you have all the exclusive fonts. It's just the blade doesn't do as many cool things. But yeah, they're great, dude. Just across the board, Star Wars merch has been great lately. And I'm very happy about that. And even Funko, early Funkos were just ugly and terrible. But now they're super good. They're cool looking. There's some that do things, like my Vader one over there. Like, you can tap the head and it, like, breathes. I'm going to show you, actually. I have like a bunch of Funkos. I love collecting Funkos. I'm just running out of room, so I haven't been collecting as many lately, but I will get to it at some point. But see? And it was only like $15, but it's like, I don't know. It's cool. And it's his episode 5 appearance too. He doesn't have the stupid purple lenses, which if you've been watching my channel, you know I hate that every interpretation of Vader in the last few years has had purple lenses. And it drives me insane. I just want the black lenses back. So this one has black lenses. And I was like, all right, that kind of sold it for me. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Oh, this is another collecting question. I saw your Starspeeder 1000 playset review, which was awesome, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you collect anything in particular, Star Wars-wise? Yes. Well, not yes, but no. Yes, no. Yes, I will answer your question, but no, I don't. I just I get what I want, like, really think is cool. I'm never going to just buy something because it's part of a set. Like, I'm not a consumer bot like that. Or maybe for some reason, if there was some series where every single figure or whatever was just flawless, then sure. But that's never the case. So I buy the ones that I like, and I don't buy the ones that I don't like. Like my Funkos, I don't have one whole collection or one whole series. I just buy the ones I want. Would be an example. I have 4 different Batman figures, but they're all from different things. I have the Arkham Knight Batman, I have the Batman. I have this really cool one, which is, I'm going to show that to you too. Shit. That one always falls. But I have this one from Batman Begins where Scarecrow gets infected with the fear gas and he sees Batman as the demon thing. This was limited edition. I think they still sell it now, but I pre-ordered this. I was super hyped for this one, and it's sick. I mean, look at this. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, this one's awesome. This is probably one of my favorite ones I own. But none of those are from the same series. They're just random Batman ones that I'm that's sick, that's cool. I'm not I need all of the Mandalorian or all of the whatever ones. No, bro. I have Clone Wars Obi-Wan from Season 5 with the Mando armor. And I have Revenge of the Sith Anakin with red eyes. It's I just get the ones of each character that I think are cool. Or for Batman, there's so many cool interpretations of the character. But I'm not too specific. And I have a really cool Iron Man one too. Here, I'll show you guys this one. This is probably one of my favorites too. It's he's getting his armor on and everything. Pretty cool. And then here's the Obi-Wan one. Oh shit. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll show you a few, actually. So this one's awesome. This is a Darth Malgus. And I bought this immediately. I saw it and I was like, all right, bro. I was at GameStop. And I just I grabbed that thing the second I saw it. Then this one I paid a lot for. I paid $25 for this at a Funko reseller store. But this one's probably one of my favorites too. Because, it's my favorite. One of my, my favorite one's my Vader. That lights up. That one's close. And then I have this one, which came in a set. No, it didn't. This did not come in a set. This was just on its own. However, this came in a set, which is awesome. This is Darth Maul from Clone Wars and Pre-Vizsla, and it was a dual set. So you could put them like that. Let me flip this. Oh shit. Like that. Do you see? Look how cool that is, bro. Come on. You can't. That's awesome. Look, even his jetpack is it's one of my favorite Clone Wars episodes too. Sick. Yeah, let me put these. I'll deal with it later. We can chill here for now. Next question. What's the best Star Tours mission? Oh god, that's difficult. Because I love so many of them. Of the original ones. I like my favorite intro is Vader, where Vader comes down on the thing and is like, the rebel spies here, and then he grabs your ship and you shoot at him, and he gets his saber and he's like, psh, 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 and then the TIE fighters come. That's so cool. My favorite first planet, probably Tatooine. I think Tatooine or Kashyyyk. I'm gonna say Tatooine. Tatooine, where you're in the pod race. That's so cool. My favorite message is Yoda, and my favorite last mission thing is close between Coruscant and Naboo. Those are both my favorites. And then I guess if you get Naboo, you get the outro where you run into the end of the N1, which that always, as a kid, that scared me. I don't know what it was. It always kind of startled me because it looks so real. Because like the thing like looks like you're going right into it, but obviously you're not. But when I was a kid, that always kind of freaked me out. But I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, what? That looks so real, and I know it's not. But to the same extent, running into the tail of an N1 in a ship is not, not something you necessarily want to happen because it blows your windshield and everything, or whatever it's called in Star Wars land. But yeah, pretty cool. But that's my favorite thing. So if you get the N1, then that's your ending. But all the other ones you end in the space station, I think. Coruscant, you have a special ending. Yeah, I don't know. That's my favorite ones. Do you have any Star Wars autos? Yes, I do. I will show you these. I only have a couple, and then I have one that I got out of a pack forever ago that's a pretty just unknown character. But so this is from Ray Park, Darth Maul. I met him at a comic shop near me. I was just walking. I'm in that shopping center all the time, and I just walked past it, and it said Ray Park on these dates. I was like, what the fuck? I remember I freaked out. I was like, what the hell? I can see Darth Maul. And then I went, and he's the nicest guy. I walk up to him. He was like, thank you for supporting me or whatever. And he's like, what's your name? And he really took the time to know me. And I was just expecting kind of shake his hand, he signed it, and I go. But no, we had a full-on, 10-minute conversation. He took, all I paid for was the auto. He gave me a quote and 3 pictures, and he let my people I was with record the whole interaction. It was crazy. But he is an awesome dude. He really is a great guy. And yeah, I mean, it was incredible to meet him because he's the guy. He is the stunt man. You know what I'm saying? There's not that many people who can do that kind of stunt work. The stunt work that it required, in Phantom Menace during that, especially the part where it's just him and Obi-Wan fighting each other. Ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculous. He is so good at what he does. And he's one of my favorite villains ever, So it was really cool to meet him. But he was awesome. He was very nice. So this is probably my favorite, not gonna lie. But yeah. And then, it's close. It's close. This one was really cool. James Arnold Taylor was at San Diego Comic-Con. And I was like, all right, I love this guy. He's Obi-Wan from Clone Wars. So A, he's my childhood. B, he's a fellow Christian. And C, who doesn't want an autograph from Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? So I see him and Matt and Ashley. They're all at this booth. And it was I get more snacks, more food, or I get the auto. And I was like, I'll just eat when I get home. And I was like, I just got the auto. Again, incredibly nice guy who took the time to have a conversation with me, genuinely cared, and I guess he's just really humble. I don't know, when I told him that, like, that, you know, I was like, you know, you literally were my childhood pretty much. Like, the Clone Wars, and I told him specifically, you know, about, I was like, my favorite episode as a kid was, um, where you and Satine find out, you know, that Pre Vizsla's the leader of Death Watch, and, you know, and he knew exactly, he's like, oh yes, I remember, he's like, I remember recording that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was surreal to me. Like, this is the guy who recorded this episode that I've literally watched on repeat like 100 times, you know, and that he's just crucial to Clone Wars. And then not only was he in Clone Wars, this guy's been playing Obi-Wan for years. He voiced Obi-Wan in the Revenge game. I mean, he voiced Obi-Wan in the 2003 Clone Wars show. Like, he's been voicing Obi-Wan for way longer than any of these other voice actors in Star Wars. Like, he's been in Star Wars voice acting for years. And not only does he play Obi-Wan, he also voices Plo Koon. So it's like I met Plo Koon too. It's crazy. Crazy. He's so talented. He really is. And an absolutely incredible person. Yeah, very, very, very nice guy. I loved getting to interact with him. And, you know, since it was at Comic-Con, your time is more limited, but we talked for a while, honestly, before, obviously, you know, I had to go. But, yeah, for Comic-Con, I was like, wow, we actually got to interact, because most Comic-Con things like that, here you go, bye, nice to meet you, that's it. But him, I was like, you know, I was like, I like your shirt. He was wearing this really cool, like, Jesus, Son of God shirt. It was like an Avengers comic looking thing. I was like, that's sick. And he's like, I had a panel with this guy who designed it. And then, yeah, I don't know. He's super, super, super nice too. Both the Star Wars guys I've met have been incredibly warm, kind people. And I think that goes to show the difference between Star Wars and, I guess, the way it impacts the people working on it and involved with it, rather than some other movie where they're just a Hollywood star and they're just here for fame and they're just here to get some extra cash. Like, those guys are there because they truly care about the fans and making the fans happy. And, you know, it's an opportunity for us to meet them. And you can tell. You can tell when you go up to them that they're legit, they mean everything they say, they're warm, you know, and James especially, both of them were honestly equally as, like, kind. And it's so weird because it's like they know nothing about you, but you know, like, everything about them. So it's like you go up to them like you've known them for years or whatever, you know, and I don't know, it's just odd. It's a really, really cool experience, you know, meeting someone that you've been watching on screen for, like, your entire life. Him especially, you know, and I think it really does have to do with the fact that they're not Hollywood actors, and they're just, like, really talented people that were in Star Wars. You know, they're not like Hollywood people. And I think that really has to do with why they're so human. That's really all of them. Like Hayden as well. You know, I've heard that he's super nice and warm and kind and takes time with you. Same thing. Like, he's just, I feel the most talented actors and stuff aren't, you know, Hollywood people. They're really not. You know, and Ewan I've heard super nice too. Like, yeah. And Ashley I've heard, like, literally will talk to you for like 20 minutes. Like, she's, I guess, super, super talkative. But yeah, I've absolutely loved both those experiences, and meeting James was like a dream come true. I've been waiting to meet James forever. And then he randomly was just posting on Instagram. He's like, I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. It's like, what the fuck? I meet George Lucas. I shake hands and talk to James Arnold Taylor. I ran into Theory and all these people. Like, that day was ridiculously cool, bro. Crazy. Anyways, and then my last one, this one is a real auto, but it's just of like a nobody resistance pilot, but still it's an auto, that I pulled in just some random pack back in I think 2018, 2017, 2018, I think, that I pulled off the shelf at Target. I have a YOLO Ziff autograph. He's, I believe, a Resistance pilot in The Last Jedi. Um, the actor Stephen Grube, but still, it's an auto from Star Wars. Well, Star Wars, kind of, but still, it is an auto. But these two, so cool. So cool. Honestly, surreal. It's like weird. It's like when you walk up to them, it's like, huh? It's like you're breaking the fourth wall. Because, like, you see them all over, obviously, when you're watching their things they're in, and then all over social media. And then it's like, you're like, oh shit, they're actually like a living, breathing human. They're not just like some movie thing. I don't know. It's weird. It's cool. Yeah. So if any of you have the opportunity to meet people like that, like any of the Star Wars cast, you should, because it's a really cool experience. And that really shows if you genuinely care about the people behind it. Because you can tell there are people who go up to them and are just doing it to say they have a signature. But I really do it because I care about the individual. I care about James. I'm not treating him as just some object. I care about Rey, and I want to support them, and I want to actually say thank you. More than anything, I don't care. If we have a full conversation, that's great. But if not, and we don't have time, or the venue won't let them, then that's fine. I just want to say thank you, and there's some people that I want to say thank you to, and those two were definitely up there for me. Yeah, and not gonna lie, James is my Obi-Wan, and I don't know, I might have spoken about this before, but that Obi-Wan voice, I don't know, I feel like that's my favorite version of the character, to be honest, is from Clone Wars. And I think he nails the voice the best, too. It's just, when I think of Obi-Wan, that's genuinely who I think of. So, to me, that was the equivalence of, like, meeting Ewan. It was like a big deal for me. So, yeah, that was crazy. If only I could go back in time and tell my, like, little 4-year-old self, one day you're going to shake the hand of Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Ridiculous. One day I will meet Hayden, though. One day it will happen, and that will be, like, cool, just the coolest thing ever. If only I could shake George's hand at some point, that would be amazing. But I get why he just stays away from everything, because he hates Hollywood, and it's fair because Hollywood is dirty and slimy and gross and evil, and he's like, bye, I'm gonna be over here and you guys are over there. That's always how he is with everything, so yeah, he's just with his, like, group, his folks, and then everything else is just, I have nothing to do with this, and I feel again, that's why Star Wars is so special, is because it's not a Hollywood film. They're just, like, made by a really cool guy, yeah. So, and I wouldn't say it's indie, because indie films are just as bad. Indie films are honestly more Hollywood than independent films. It's really weird, because, like, indie films, like A24 and weird little production studios, they follow the same moral code and structure as Hollywood films now, but, well, A24 is Hollywood, but, like, I'm talking films like that, like, they follow the similar form and function as Hollywood films. Where truly independent films are special. They're truly independent from the system. Those are the films that are really different. Like Star Wars, the first 6, obviously, and then, like, The Passion of the Christ was an independent film. Sound of Freedom, more recently, for a more recent one, Sound of Freedom's a completely independent film, right? It's like you can tell that there's no one breathing down their neck, right? When you watch them, it just feels like true art. Or honestly, in the music realm, like Kanye West, or now Ye, All of his music is just him, and you can tell there's no one breathing down his neck. He's just going crazy. He just goes crazy and makes, I think, some of the best music ever. John Williams, I think is the purest form of art ever in anything. I think John Williams' music is like it. But in terms of like, yeah, I don't know. Kanye is a close second for me. Because he just does whatever he wants. That's what's so cool. He says whatever he wants, and he does whatever he wants. And I feel like that's what makes his music so unique and so gives it this tone. We're now all these modern pop artists. You don't even have rock and roll anymore. All that's died. Now it's all this robotic, like soulless pop, where now there's a new pop artist every 6 months that everyone gets obsessed with. And then when the next one comes along, they throw out the other one. And it's like whoever's on tour, it's like these robots that just like kind of are in this matrix cycle. And then there's like Kanye or John Williams or Hans Zimmer or like any of the old, bands like AC/DC or Black Sabbath, Rip Ozzy Osbourne, but like all those bands, or singer, whatever the fuck, musicians, they all have a distinct voice. You're never gonna confuse them. They're all very clear. From 1 second into the song or piece or whatever, you could tell who's behind it very easily. And those are truly the people that I believe are the most influential and essential to art. Not just to films or whatever, but to art. George is the pinnacle. George and Kanye are the pinnacle artists, I feel, that like literally do whatever they want and have no one telling them what to do. And even when Hollywood, even when the media goes after them, slanders them, says this and that about them, they don't care and they push forward and they do what they want anyways. And they're the ones who influence the world the most. Not what would be an example of one of these new gen crap? Like not A24, not Taylor Swift, none of that shit. That's all just like, I wouldn't even say Taylor Swift has made an impact on a specific group, but I'd say more like these new like Tate person. I don't even know her last name. Like those people who just come and go, like that stuff. They don't impact the world. They're just there commercially for some label to make money, and then they're done. Right? They're just there for a little bit. They're invested in Hollywood, invested in all the scum that people are thinking of when they think of Hollywood. Where like George and frickin' Kanye and all these people are just them. And there's no one controlling them. And I feel like that's how art should be. Art should not be regulated. Sure, there are certain decisions that are dumb decisions, but I feel like that's for the artist to learn. They'll make a mistake and realize, oh, a good artist will make a mistake and go, I'm not going to do that again, and really learn from it. But a bad, ignorant artist will make the same mistake repeatedly and say there's nothing wrong. And those are typically the Hollywood ones. The independent ones, the freedom filmmakers, the freedom musicians, those ones are the ones who truly want to grow and learn as an individual. And I feel that is what really gets things going. And even when they have a company that's super wealthy, like George did, it never loses that sense of individuality, of caring about your employees as individuals, like old Lucasfilm. Like there's this feeling of old Lucasfilm was like a ginormous family. That's what old Lucasfilm felt like to me. Even when you go there today, they have pictures and memorabilia from that time, and it's just such a different feel. It doesn't feel like, oh, now you work for this big corpo who could cut you off at any second and say, you're not doing that, you're fired, or you said this, you're fired, like Disney, and yeah, and that's what I want to try to change, if there's anything, as a young, up-and-coming person in the film industry. If there's anything I want to do, is I want to unregulate art. And I mean, even in the large studios, I want to unregulate art. I want the big studios, with the vast amount of money and materials they have, to put out the quality of movies like Star Wars or whatever. That's really what I want. Which they have done in the past, right? Like The Dark Knight, where that was all Chris Nolan. Or The Lord of the Rings, even. Where that was all like Peter Jackson. Oh God, I hope that's the right name. Please. Yeah, thank God. or The Matrix, that's all the Wachowski brothers. Back in the day, they used to give creatives full reign sometimes. Even Spielberg with Jurassic Park. That's Universal, but still given full control. And when you do that, those are the films that really work. But you can't give like everyone, you have to earn that freedom. If you're still learning, then you should expect the big studio to change some things, because you're still learning and there's things that you're not going to get right. But, if your experience and you're ridiculously good, then the studio should let you do your thing. Or like Oppenheimer as a recent example. Universal gave Chris Nolan full freedom there, just to do whatever the hell he wanted. And it worked. And they're doing it again with The Odyssey, right? So like when people are like, big studio, it's like, yeah, there are really terrible movies from those big studios, but there have also been really, really iconic, massive movies that have come out of those studios as well, that all have one thing in common, and that is those are all unregulated pieces of art. Why? Because the studio trusts the filmmaker, right? It's not like some random guy who pulls up with zero track record. He's going to get a lot of interference because he's like, who is this guy? But if you can really prove yourself as a filmmaker and have a portfolio and have Jaws and whatever, next to you, and show that to them, then they'll be like, oh, he knows what he's doing, and they'll leave you alone. It's really that simple, It was that simple. But nowadays, there's a lot more politics and this and that in the film industry, unfortunately, that they try to shove in. And I see that starting to die down a little bit, but it obviously still is present, unfortunately. But yeah, so unregulated art is truly the purest art. And I think that, bringing this back to kind of where I originally was with James and Ray Park, is they are unregulated artists who are just truly themselves. They're not bought out by anyone. They're not owned by anyone. They're just them, and that's, I think, really cool to meet those people. They're the most inspiring artists, and they have the most respect from me, because they say what they want, they do what they want, and they don't let anyone tell them, no, don't say that, don't do that, and they're just them. And that's what I strive for ultimately, and you guys know that, because I say whatever I want on here, and I don't care, and it's truly, brainwashing and lying to say, oh, well, you shouldn't say that because of A, B, and C, or you live in such a state where that doesn't affect you. It's like, no, we should band together as a society and not let these people control us, control what we say, control what we do, control what we like, control what we don't like. That as a society doesn't work, and having these pieces of art from people who didn't let society control them is proof that this works when you just are yourself, and I've taken that to heart fully. And I mean, it's very evident from every single video I've made. I'm just brutally honest and brutally true to what I think. Even if sometimes I change my mind. That's the thing, is I don't have a concrete answer for everything, in terms of like my favorite this or that. You guys know it changes, right? And it's like, well, that's just me. I'm never going to give you a concrete best favorite trilogy. I'm always switching between originals or prequels because I love both. It's like, I'm not like, oh yeah, only this. I'm not an absolutionist or only that or only this. It's like, no. I don't know. I just think the way that these really great people think, and that's a good sign, because that means, if I can remain thinking in a broad lens with no bars, which I will, obviously, there's no way that I wouldn't at this point, then I think I could do anything, honestly, because if you think this way, you're unstoppable. Because what always stops people? Their head. Or the Jews. But, either way, it's one of the two. It's one of the two. But yeah, I mean, not even, because even when they try to get you, then you can still do your thing on your own. Right? It's like, it's crazy. Like, no one can truly stop you unless you're dead. Right? But then even if they kill you, then you're inspiring a movement of new people stronger than if you were alive, right? So it's like, they're fucked. Like, the bad guys are, and I'm not just talking about, them. They're screwed across the board. The guys who want to control us are screwed because they can't. Because at the end of the day, whatever they do, there's always going to be people who think like me, think like George and all these other people just don't care, right, about things. There's always going to be people like us out there who will see straight through their lies, see straight through what the narrative they're saying, right? And it's like crazy. It's crazy. And really, all I want is the best for the world, and I want people to be unregulated to some extent, Like, to be honest, I am the quintessential American, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not this political side, that political side. I'm like, we fought a war over 2% tax on tea and a tyrannical government ruling over us. And now we have like 8% taxes on all goods and a bajillion percent taxes on everything. And we're ruled by a heinous government that isn't even controlled in our own country. So it's like, then I'm like, that's like the empire, So that's really what I mean by being less regulated in terms of that stuff. Sure, you need security, you need police, you need all that. That's vital. And I'm a huge police supporter. That is vital. You can't have, you need to keep real criminals in check who are physically doing things. But in terms of saying stuff or believing in certain things, that should be unregulated. So that's more what I mean by unregulated society. And I think that's what makes the world the greatest it can be, is when no one is limited, no one is cut off, no one is told what to say. That is when you have the quintessential perfect world. But yeah. And most importantly, one that believes that Christ is king, because you can't have a society that doesn't. So, but even then, I don't think that you should be forced to believe in one branch or the other branch, just, right? Because there's problems in all of them, right? You should just believe that Christ is king. There's plenty of proof that he died on the cross and rose again. And that is a quintessential important truth as well. So as long as people know that if they believe in Christ, they're saved, and are free to say and do it as they wish, that's it. It's that simple. But, unfortunately, our society and world is so fucked that something as simple as that we are miles away from because we're so contradicted and fucked, but I am this, essentially. I literally am the 1770, your typical 1776er Han Solo rebel person. Like, that's me, bro. I'd never want tyrannical anything. Even if it was not tyrannical, but like a government that I agreed with more, I still don't think, because there's people who are still good people who still believe in Christ who wouldn't like that, right? So it's like, that's not fair to them, it's like, I don't know, I feel like things shouldn't be that regulated. So I am the American. I am not the left, the right, the Trump, the Biden. I am the classic, original, authentic American from 1776. That's who I am. So yeah, a topic as simple as Star Wars autographs led to the quintessential way the society works. But welcome to Saadelive Video. This is how we work over here. But yeah, that's really all. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and share if you want more. And I will see you in the next video. May the force be with you always. Goodbye.